So you had time off, right? Did you, kind of? You just struggled with mental...
So, yeah, what happened with me was from the age of probably... Well, I was doing artistic gymnastics till I was about 14.
Yeah.
That's when I actually did 2 years of tramp. Was like a 10-year-old, went to nationals, was like, this is so cool. Then did a double front, kneed myself in the head, hated life. Went back to WAG, went back to artistic, and I was like, okay, I know this better. This is good.
Yes.
And then maybe at 14 is when my first ever mental block thing came up, but it wasn't like a massive thing. But I switched sports again, so I stopped being able to jump to the high bar. I just stopped being able to jump to it.
Oh wow!
It's just.
I mean, you are little.
Just couldn't. Yeah, but like, you know, they can move the bars. They can be within like touch distance. And it's something that I still, if I haven't done it for a long time, have to like work myself up to, which is really strange. But anyways, left WAG and was like, screw this. I don't want to do this too hard.
Yes.
I'm going to go back to trampolining. And so I went back, and from the age of 16, like after I'd kind of built up the skills again and was getting to harder skills, I got to a point where I had mental blocks. I had the same routines for 7 years. From age 16 to whatever that adds up to, 20 something.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was brutal. It was so brutal. Like there was a few times where I'd like build a new skill and I'd be able to get it in there, but just for some double mini context, like you run up to the trampoline, you do your mount skill, and then you do dismount skill.
Yes.
I would do the mount skill, and then I would stop. And I would do the mount skill, and I would stop, and I would stop, and I would stop, and I would just be doing that.
In all fairness, I watched double mini, and I'm like, nah. You're actually meant to, or not meant to, but like it's an asset to WAG to do trampoline training. No. I'm so scared. I'm really scared of heights.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm really scared of heights. So like, no, you guys jump so high. No.
My goodness. No, well, it's also an asset to do like some sort of floor tumbling stuff for us because so much power.
I am like so here for the connection of gymnastics sports. I wish I had done some rhythmic because my ball skills are just pathetic.
Eye coordination is not my strong suit either. So 7 years of the same skills, which like you can relate to as not doing the same skills, but like imagine that stuck point of like doing your same routine since you were whatever age.
Yeah.
And so if I can compare it to like a ball sport, it would be like being in the same age group for 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, and that would just be rubbish. Like you just wouldn't keep going.
No.
And so I knew I loved the sport, but I hated it through that time. Like I just hated it. But again, like we talked about, I was a gymnast.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And so if I didn't make this, like my whole self-worth falls apart. Like who am I? I don't know, without doing the thing that I said I was going to do. And for me, that was making an Australian team.
Yeah.
Because for double mini, as you know, there's no Olympics. We wish one day, we hope. But a World Championships was like the goal for me. And there were so many times that there were pushbacks on that. And some of them were in my control, some of them weren't. Some I got the score, and then the person who had the lower score was a reserve for the older team, and so they got in. And you know, and that's like, it feels very personal at the time, but it never is. The selectors, you know, they're just doing what they think is best, and that's fine. But there were so many setbacks, like you said, like with your journey in the Olympics, where I was just like, clearly I'm just not meant for this. This is like, I've taken this path so hard, and it's just, maybe the fork in the road was really missed a long time ago. Yeah. And then I was like, wait, had that whole reassessment of like, maybe it's not about the outcome. Like, let me really just like enjoy this journey.
Yes.
And so I did this massive deep dive into like, why am I having these mental blocks? And I read so much. Like I read all of the books. I did many different type of, like I saw a psychologist, I saw a hypnotherapist. I did a uni course that's like on Audible, actually really cool, Psychology of Sport Performance. I did like so much reading and started to implement little things. Yeah. And I just found that was a game changer. Just changing the way you talk to yourself, one, I think is such a big thing. And it's so like, it gets thrown around a lot, but just the beliefs that you're constantly feeding to yourself, and then your brain is going to like confirmation bias for you. That was a massive turning point for me. Like, what story am I telling myself? That is completely counter to my goals. So let me have this new story, and let me find the way to like really believe this and find the evidence for this. And that was such a big shift for me. And from there, I was like, okay, I'm going to give everything to this goal. Like, I'm going to give everything to this goal. But my goal is qualify for an Australian team and or become a better person along the way. And so for me, those things at that point were both so true. I believe them both so hard. It's like, I was okay either way. Like, if I made it, I documented it all the way, and I'd like reflected on every training session, and it was so helpful for me to like talk things out loud and put it out into the world, and kept saying it. And yeah, it really didn't like, I'm so grateful that like I got to go to the World Cup in Italy. That was my first ever Australian team. Is still my first ever Australian team, hoping to get another one.
Yes.
But
it will happen.
Yeah, so, but either way, like, I'm okay. And that's the thing, like, when I got there, I had never competed so calmly. I've never competed so, like, centered. I was just happy to be there. I was just happy to be there. Like, my whole family was there, which, like, they flew to Italy to come and watch me. And my parents have recently divorced. And they managed to be in the same room together, to watch, which was so special to me because it wasn't about, like, any of that. It was just that they were there.
Yeah.
And that was just amazing. So that was favourite competition by far. Not my favourite routines I've ever done. Absolutely not. But it was
First comp.
Yeah, it was just the best. And this time, like, the teams for Spain have just been announced for World Championships for us, which is this year. And I haven't made it.
Lame, why?
It's okay. So there were a few girls ahead of me in the scores, and I had to do something very particular. I had to do something very specific at national clubs to get onto the team. And I didn't make it happen. I was meant to do a straight skill, and I tucked in, so DD was gone. So
Why did you tuck in?
Because I was not going to land on my feet if I did it. I would have face planted. So, okay. Distraught that day. Like, I knew I hadn't done my job that I wanted to do, and like, as we're talking about this, it like all sounds good in hindsight, like you said, like, it's all fine and like I'm okay about it, and that's very true, but at the time, like, you still go through it, like, the downs are the downs. And then I think the most useful skill you can have is to reframe in a way that it feels like a learn rather than a loss.
Yeah. Can I offer something as well? Because this is something that when I started working with Dave, and then when I went back to go to the Olympic Games, like I said, I was not the same person. I was a totally different person. One thing that I had a really clear vision of was that because I had missed out on so many things, I became far better at not making it than making it. The fear of not making it was nowhere near as large as my fear of making it.
Yeah.
And I had this subconscious fear of being successful.
Yeah, totally. I can definitely relate to that. You get to a point where there's like, when you look back, there's self-sabotage. Like, and you can see it clear as day. But when you're in it, you're like, I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the things.
Yeah, it's almost like that amount of control that you have in there is so that you don't have to blame yourself. You don't have to hold yourself to account because you controlled everything. You made it all work.
Yeah, the accountability doesn't have to be there. You go, I did everything, but like, I had mental blocks like 2 weeks before comp.
Yes, not my fault.
Not my fault.
So when I went back to train for those 9 months, that was probably one of the most powerful things, was I had to recognise that I was not going to let there be an alternative. It wasn't about making the team, but like the concept of how I thought about not making it didn't like exist. Like, I didn't even factor that in.
Yeah.
I didn't even factor in at all making it or not making it, because otherwise you give yourself 2 outcomes.
Yeah.
So I didn't even consider I didn't think about it. The Olympics wasn't actually, like, I actually didn't have and this or that. I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise that real fear of actually making it would have completely made me not make it.
Yeah, it would have manifested itself just by thinking about it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I had learned that from the past, even in 2020 when I was doing the World Cup series and trying to qualify for that Olympic Games, and it was all on me. I think about my headspace back then And even though I was 10 billion times better than I was in the past, I was more leaning towards thinking that it wasn't going to happen. You know, and then inevitably
and almost okay with it.
Yeah, inevitably that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fine with it, right?
Yeah. You've been in that situation because you're like, this has happened so many times.
Yes.
Like, I'm okay if it doesn't happen. But you've also opened up that possibility, like you said. And I think maybe my way of going into like the Italy World Cup selection of doing that was the two like Australian team or become a better person. There wasn't like the not make the team. For me, it was like, I'm doing it for the journey of like who I'm going to become along the way.
Yeah. So I would reframe it moving forward.
Yeah, tell.
Where I would just simply have it as becoming a better person.
Yeah.
And not leave it up to making the team.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're like, I don't know. That was one thing that when I went back and was training, my whole purpose had nothing to do with making the Olympics.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Like, that was just simply something that was going to unfold. And as we were sort of talking before we were on camera about how, there is only what you do, and like, you know, you take the actions so that you achieve things, right?
Yeah.
If you only take actions because you want an outcome,
then
you're actually not doing it for the right reasons.
No.
If you take actions because you're becoming a better person every single day, I guarantee you'll accidentally...
Yeah, you'll fall into the outcome that you're looking for. Yeah.
So, like, there would maybe be a part of you that allows yourself to have the option of make it or not make it, so that you give yourself the out.
Yeah.
The potential
the out. Yeah.
You know, like in the lead up to Olympics, every single day was just, hey, can we get back to gymnastics? Can I do full routines? And you know what my actual goal was? My actual goal was not gymnastics, was not Olympics. My goal was to go to nationals and compete 2 new skills that I'd never done before.
Yeah.
The reason why I had never done these skills before was because the skill on beam, I was never allowed to compete it because the risk of falling was higher than the risk of staying on the beam.
Yeah.
So my coach at the time was very risk adverse, and so she didn't want me doing that.
Right.
So I said, screw it. I'm doing it.
Competing this skill.
Because I was like, I don't care if I fall off. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I said that was my intention, was compete round off layout onto the beam.
Yeah.
My second intention was to do a 1.5 on vault. 1.5 vault scares the living daylights out of me. It's my worst apparatus. I hate it so much.
Why? Can I ask why before you go on?
I don't know. I've never unpacked it, but when I was younger, you know, we'd have vault coming up. It's just Yurchenko. It's not vault itself. It's the skill
it's
Yurchenko.
The skill Yurchenko.
We used to get half an hour handstand if we cried, so we were not allowed to cry. But I used to put my face in my locker and just cry. And then I'd like wipe it away, pull it, and I'd go to vault. And I think because I didn't fully, and I mean, this is another whole story. If you're doing skills that you don't fully understand, you can't comprehend how they work, there is a fear, real fear. Mental blocks come from not understanding the skill. Yeah. I don't understand how a Yurchenko works. I'm not going to lie. That is the stupidest skill in the world. How Simone Biles does a double pike out of that, I will never know. But I am so not Simone Biles. Like, my whole physicality is not Simone Biles. Like, So anyway, I've never found it a natural skill to me. So vault scares the living daylights out of me. But I had always had potential to do a 1.5 twist on vault. Skill. Yeah. I always kept myself safe just doing a full twist.
Okay.
But it always held me back.
Yeah.
So my 2 goals were 1.5 on vault because it scares the living daylights out of me.
Yeah.
And do round off layout because I always got told I couldn't do it and I want to do it.
Yeah.
So that was it.
And did you hit those?
Yeah.
And like, that's cool.
I did the 1.5 at nationals, and I did the round of layout at nationals and at Olympics. I didn't get to do the 1.5 at Olympics because the whole lead up to Olympics was just a schmozzle. That was annoying and upsetting, but it was just basically I shouldn't have competed on floor like, you know, I'd only been training for 9 months and I'm an old lady. I was 28. So it was either do what the 1.5 on vault or do floor. I wanted to do the 1.5 on vault, but I ended up doing all 4 apparatus at Olympics. You don't really get a choice in that. And because I was training floor all the time, I didn't have the ability, like the strength. Like I couldn't do the 1.5.
Okay, yeah.
So I just did a full, which was disappointing. But again, make Olympic team, not make Olympic team, like that was never in my mind.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Because if I thought of that, I promise you now, I would have found a way to not make it. Because like I'm so... Like when it comes to the brain wanting to help you survive, I can survive failure. No worries.
Yes.
I am so damn good at that. I am not so great at succeeding, which is funny, right? Because like when someone looks at the journey of an elite athlete from the outside, they go, well, that's not true because you've succeeded so many times. You've done so many great things. Like, look at who you are. But the way that it occurred to me in my mind was that, yeah, I'm really good at being successful when I can control absolutely everything. But when you're in a sport like gymnastics where you're getting someone judging you, you're getting scores, you can't control that.
No.
And so I got really good at knowing that if I stuff it up, I'll be fine.
Yeah, and it looks like you said, from the outside, it's like you can see, and you mostly see, which was one of my big reasons why I started actually documenting the journey, because you just see the achievements. Like that's all the outside world kind of sees of you, is when it goes right. And that is probably 2% of the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my video of me slipping at Olympics got over 22 million views, and I literally think it's because people realised that Olympians are people too.
Because it's real. It's so real.
I wasn't going to post it. I was so embarrassed. I was sitting on the bus on the way back from training, and I was like watching it, and I'm like... It took me 2 days to post it because I was like, I don't want to post this, it's so embarrassing, people are going to think they suck. And I also really had this imposter syndrome of like thinking that I had to prove my worth being on the Olympic team because I had been in retirement. So I was like, ooh, how embarrassing to post it, but then it ended up being the funniest thing in the world. So,
it's so good that you can laugh about it now, because I can remember a video of like the height of my mental blocks where I did my mount on double mini at, maybe it was only state, like it wasn't a big comp, it wasn't a big deal, you know, like, but
state matters.
State does matter. Yeah, but for me, this was the most embarrassing moment of my life at that time. So I did a half out. I went to like take off for my skill, and I had the like moment where I was like, no. And so I've like floated up in the air at least 3 meters, and then I've just like running there backward, bang, in the middle of the landing zone on my back.
Do you have this video?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Post that.
It's up.
Oh, okay.
It's been there. I remember at a time when it would just like make me feel so embarrassed. Like even just watching it, I would be like, you know, cut up by it. And then when I started working through the stuff and I was like, why is this happening to me? What can I do about it? Mindset shift. I was like, this is really funny.
It's real.
This is, it's really funny, but also it's like so many people, if that hasn't happened to them directly, they know the feeling of like that wanting to retreat into your shell when things like that happen.
Yeah.
Because you just feel like all eyes are on you, everyone's watching you, but really like, I think one of the biggest things I learned, this is such a sidetrack, but one of the biggest things I learned was like the amount that you think about yourself and your journey and your self-talk. Everyone else in their own head about their own self, just the same way.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about you. You're like passing thoughts sometimes if you're lucky. And so like to think that everyone is thinking about you, it's almost selfish because it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
And I think that's a good way to flow into, you know, back to the identity piece as well, is when you finish up, when I did retire, I was so focused on other people's opinions of me and what they expected from me in retirement. And a lot of the stories that I created in my head of, you know, when my body started changing and that had never happened to me before ever in my whole entire life. The one thing that I constantly thought about was I can't see anyone. No one can see me like this. It wasn't actually, like it's about me kind of, but it was more around I'm really scared of what people are going to say about me. And it just was, this whole identity was formed around other people saying I'm Emma the gymnast, and now all of a sudden I'm not Emma the gymnast. I'm okay with that, but I don't think anyone else is.
Yeah. And then at the end of the day, like when you have to leave the house, it's like everyone else is actually, and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like one of the hardest things to take. For me, it's not related to gymnastics, but I had like a long history of acne through my teenage years and then into adulthood, and still like something that comes and goes, but I like went on medication for it. I did all the things and just nothing was really keeping it at bay. And then I started like skin picking, and skin picking became a thing that I would just do every day. Wake up, go in the mirror,
really
pick my skin, just like squeeze everything I could find, magnifying glass it like crazy.
Wow.
And you know that it's on the OCD spectrum.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, I'm crazy. I'm actually crazy. Like, I'm a crazy person. And I just imagine, like, and this is not crazy because, like, I'm obviously the same. But, like, I imagine the people that, like, you know, pick their eyebrows when they're anxious, and they pick their hair, and, you know, and that, to me, I thought, oh my God, that's what I'm doing to myself. Like, that's so terrible. And that was a really hard thing to go through, and me, like, hearing you say that, is like, that's a time when I didn't want to show my face in public. I didn't want to leave the house. I was just so embarrassed to like be out in the world because of what people think of me. And I knew that I was doing it to myself in a way. And I know that's not necessarily your story.
No, it's very similar though.
Yeah.
It's very, well, it just comes back to the fact that I think, and social media heightens this as well, we base a lot of our self-worth around what other people think about us. And what I've come to learn is that in a sport like gymnastics, because we are judged and we are given our scores, we are told good, bad, right, wrong by our coaches.
Always that duality of like here or there.
I found, and I do find, not that this is not a good or a bad thing, it's just something that I've developed over time, is that I'm not so great at making, like, I've become a lot better. I wasn't so great at making decisions on my own. I was very good at being told what to do, and I could follow what I had been told what to do because I had been coached since I was 5 or 6. And therefore, a lot of my self-worth was wrapped up in what other people think of me. I would look at them for approval. I didn't quite know what I wanted. I didn't know what I thought was good or bad. But again, that things like that only have a hold over you if you don't acknowledge that they exist.
Yeah.
And so once I realised that, I seek external validation, like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, it just wasn't like a good or a bad thing. It just was like, okay, I'll just be aware of that.
Awareness and understand. Yeah. Okay. And then you can kind of go to the next level after you are aware of it, of like, okay, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And like, what things can I do if I do want to shift this? If I do want to shift this behaviour.
Yeah. I like to sort of find ways to use your perceived negative traits in as a superpower, you know.
Okay.
I'm a crazy person, obviously, because like anyone who does elite sport or anything at a high performance level is somewhat insane. And it's like, okay, cool, well, how can I make sure that I get to use that in my life?
This insanity.
You know, rather than like, I think, and this comes back to that identity piece, because it's all wrapped up in that, is like, I tried to really reject what made me a great friggin' athlete when I finished, because I was like, I'm not a gymnast anymore. I don't need to be a gymnast anymore, and I shouldn't be a gymnast anymore. I can't do life like how I did gymnastics.
So what part of the insanity did you feel like, what traits were they that you felt like, now that you look at them, you're like, oh my God, so translatable skill?
Well, I'm a very fast-paced person. I like the deadlines. I do not like to do the same thing every day. I don't. I like challenge. I like being out of my comfort zone. I like pressure. I like the adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
You know, I just was brought up to be very go, go, go. I tell people now what I'm doing in my life, and they're like, maybe you should just focus on one thing. And it's like, well, I don't think so, because it's like, that's not how you're going to get the most out of me.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, it's, you know,
I will do 10 things, and I will do them all well.
I'll do them well, and I think we label things quite a bit and put them in a negative light that can be used to your advantage if you choose. So,
Yes.
you know, there was a time when I really tried to suppress that part of me that wanted to constantly be doing stuff, because everyone kept telling me like, no, Emma, you need to learn how to relax. Like, you need to learn how to sit down and watch TV. I can sit down and watch TV. Trust me. I've watched all seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Vampire Diaries, you know, like, not, they're both vampire things. Gilmore Girls, whatever. I can binge watch an entire TV show, totally, because I've done that. Yeah. But I do that when I have ticked off the tasks that I want to do, right?
Got you.
Why is that a bad thing? Do you know what I mean? Like, why was everyone telling me, like, no, you need to learn how to chill? No, chilling out and, like, forcing myself to do that was not beneficial to me. That was an energy drainer. I get energy from doing things.
Yeah.
Sometimes doing things does look like sitting on the couch watching television. Totally. But that's in the plan.
Yeah. It sounds like, actually, when you're saying that, you're reminding me a lot of my partner, Sean.
Yeah.
He's very like, once the list is ticked off, chill time.
Yeah.
And I used to be all up in his grill like, you need to learn how to chill out. But then I was just like, no, this is what works for him. And it's not what works for me. And that's okay. We can be different. And I think that's what some people don't see. They just see like, you probably like in their mind heading to burnout. And then just like, I'm burnt out doing like half. What is happening? But you work a different way. And like, it's a different lifestyle. Like, I know that my friends that do a 9 to 5, or like even my family that do a 9 to 5, you know, at the end of the day, they're gassed.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's because they're in jobs they don't like, and sometimes it's just because they do a lot of work of jobs they do like. But for me, I know that I'm not a 9 to 5 kind of girl. Like, I just will never fit into that lifestyle. Like, I'm 27, I'm still doing 2 to 4 p.m. training in the middle of the day because I need to split up the day, one, but also I love doing training too. Yeah. But yeah, even my work as a chiro, and I work a couple of hours in the morning here, a couple of hours in the afternoon there, and I split it like that because variety for me.
Yeah.
And like, I heard you say that as well, which is funny, but like kind of operating in a different way. Like, I love the intermissions. That's what I live for, is the intermissions. It's like, I love the job and I love the things that I'm doing, but I also like love the gaps in between. And so for me, I'm like, chill time, work, chill time, work, chill time, work. And that's what I really like about it. But it doesn't work for everyone. Everyone's like, do you do anything like during the day? I'm like, dude, I'm doing quite a few things. It just looks like it for a few hours in the middle. Yeah. When you guys are at work, like, sometimes I'm not doing anything. But that's okay, because I love my week.
Yeah, and I think that can shift too. And I think that also it gets glorified quite a lot on social media to not have a 9 to 5.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that, no, it would be really fun, I think, and really calming to have a very strict
schedule.
This is what you do, you know, like,
yes.
If I operated that way, then I would do that. I just won't operate that
totally.
way.
I have friends that like are obsessed with their jobs and they do 9 to 5s. You know?
Yeah, I think that, you know, and where I'm getting at that is like, you know, I've lived my life in a very fast-paced, skill-based, goal-setting, high achieving fashion. So when you walk out of a sport, when you retire, and you realise that your identity has been wrapped up in something that's a high performance, what on earth makes you think that you're going to be able to just get rid of that part of you?
Yeah, it's a learned skill, but also for a lot of us that got like taken up at a young age, it was like already a trait that we had, you know. And I think that there is like the talent scoping, which is a thing.
Yes.
But then also it's like the work ethic from like being a child, you have that drive and that go, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have kept going. And partly tied to the identity thing as well, but like leaving that aside for a second, I think we all that have made it to this age, or like, you know, an older age in the sport, had that ethic and that not quit mentality and that just go.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, once an athlete, always an athlete. I've spent a long time when I retired, trying to reject the fact that I was a gymnast because I didn't look like a gymnast anymore. My day-to-day life wasn't being a gymnast anymore. And then I realised that the way that I tackle situations, the way that I speak to people, the way that I handle myself is very much like an athlete would.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not performing gymnastics anymore,
yeah.
even though I'm not training gymnastics anymore, I'm now training in a very different way and I'm now performing in a very different way, but I'm still doing that. I'm still an athlete in a lot of the ways that I approach situations. I just probably can't go and do a round of flip double tuck anymore. I probably do, but I'm going to test it. We're not going to test that.
Should we take this outside? We are, yeah. No.
But you know what I mean? And so that was a really powerful thing, was when I actually stopped rejecting that identity of being a gymnast.
Yeah.
And I started to build on it. I think that's a really special thing to do too.
Yes.
You know, and it's interesting because I did read a book once about how, and this can be controversial, and I've got 2 friends that I told to read this book and they didn't finish it. Whereas I really enjoyed it, and it basically said that like trauma doesn't exist because it's up to you whether or not you want to hold on to your past.
Yeah. Which book, if you don't mind?
The Courage to Be Disliked.
Yes.
Wait, is it that one? Is that the one have you read that book?
I haven't read it, but I have it on the shelf actually.
Oh, read it. Isn't that one? I'm going to get back to you. I think it is that one.
Courage to Be Disliked.
It's a philosophical book.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think I went on a similar little personal development journey
yeah.
when I retired, and it was really interesting in that, it basically said it's your choice to use the stories you've created from your past and bring them into your future. And I think that's really powerful, where rejection is very different to not using something.
Yeah, integration almost.
Yes, yeah. If you're like, I think where I potentially caused myself more turmoil was in that the more you try to resist something, the more it persists, right? Like if you're swimming in the water and you're like trying to like claw at the water, you're going to drown.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just like swim through it, then you'll get through. So rather than me try to push away being a gymnast, try to make it bad, make it, I don't want these traits that I learned as a gymnast. It doesn't help me. I'm like a poor gymnast. Ew. I realized like, oh wait, I am going to choose to take that on board, and I'm going to keep it as a step, and then I'm going to step on top of that, and I'm going to create new steps.
Emma 2.0. Emma 3.0.
Yeah, and so that's where it then simply became from there. Emma the nutritionist, then Emma the health coach, then Emma the Olympian, then Emma the, whatever.
Whatever's next.
Emma the speaker, Emma the business owner, like. Emma the fairy princess.
Fairy princess. And wait, there was a second one. Fairy princess and...
Oh, rich.
Rich, obviously.
Obviously. But do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. There's always reiterations.
Yes, so, to round it off, I think that the identity piece is rather than reject what you've been told, and rather than reject being a gymnast, carry it with you, carry it as like a badge of honour. It's just like when you go to war, I guess, I think. I've never been. And you get...
Speaking for experience.
Yeah. I went to a world war. But, you get your badges. It's like a badge of honour. And I think that for my friends who struggled a lot with their identity now, they don't wear their gymnastics with a badge of honour.
Yes.
Yeah. I choose to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks good on you.
Thanks so much.
Can I add a little piece there?
Totally.
So I think that whatever you resist kind of breeds itself. Like there's that quote, like whatever you condemn breeds, which I think is so true.
Yes.
It's exactly like you're saying when you give yourself the 2 options and one is failing, you've put the time and energy into that thought, and so it breeds.
Yeah. Don't give yourself a black or white.
Yeah.
And I catch myself doing this in every area of life. We all do it in every area of life, and that's why I have mentors and things like that. Like even Dean, who like he's helped me a lot with that.
Yeah. Dean is kind of how we
connected,
found each other.
Yeah,
which is cool. But with the identity, I wanted to say I find that when I was going through the self-discovery journey, and still forever on. But when I was really looking into it at first and having so many insights, I did the rejection thing of like just completely detached from it. I thought I'm just like stepping back from it, and like that can be there and I can be here. But as I've done this more, and I feel like this is like exactly what you said your skills are here, and like to integrate them, and instead of it being a thing you tie your value to, it be a thing that is part of you and it makes up part of the essence, not just like the one thing that you can be proud of. Like it's part of a plethora of things that you can wear with pride.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that Emma is a good gymnast because I trained as a good gymnast. You know, you earn that badge, you earn that name from the work that you, whoever you are, whoever you choose to be, does.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a lot more powerful, is to really understand that was like Emma, whoever that is. And that's whoever you get to choose to be.
Yeah.
And so I think when you try to reject or like push or remove the identity of being a gymnast, then it also your focus is on trying to get rid of something. So it's still taking up your focus.
You're still putting time and energy into resisting it.
The only reason it pops up is because people say to you like, hey, what do you do? What do you do for a living? It's like, well, I do gymnastics. I did gymnastics.
Yeah.
Rather than saying I am a gymnast.
Yeah.
Tiny shift.
Yeah. And it's something that I'm still working on because I hear it sometimes. And it's good. Like, it's good to hear it because you're becoming aware of it.
Yeah.
But it's still a thing that I say, like, I am a chiropractor. I usually say I do trampolining just because it doesn't
work.
Yeah.
I am trampoline.
I am trampoline. I am. Yeah, but you know what I mean. You say your labels like that's what we all have done always. And to make that shift, it does make a mental shift.
Yes.
As well. The last thing I want to round out on, I thought maybe the like takeaway action piece for this is more how can, especially I think young athletes, specifically I think younger girls go through it more, but I could be wrong. I'm not a boy and I haven't lived it. But from what I can see and from what I've experienced, I think awareness is a massive piece to like start the journey of like, am I super tied identity, self-worth to this in a way that might be impacting me in a negative way? How can I start to notice that? What would you say when your identity was tied up in that? And I'll give some examples too, with the things that you would say to yourself at training when you were getting down and you noticed that it was tying. You know, for me, I can give you maybe an example of like, if I wasn't doing my skills, like it, obviously you never think in full sentences, so it's a bit like dramatized, but if it's like the idea, when I didn't do a skill, I would be like, oh my God, my coach is going to be like, you're wasting your time. Like that's the things that I would think, or, oh my God, why am I even like trying to do this? I'm not going to make the team. Like there's 2 weeks left till whatever. Those types of things that you would hear yourself saying where you're really tying yourself to the outcome and your values like on the outcome and the sport.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Look, I mean, it's been a long time since.
Yeah.
I would probably, this would be Emma in like 2013 onwards, and it was just very much like, oh, I better not stuff this up. Or like, oh, I have to go to training.
I have to.
I
think that's such a good one that you said that. Something that I would always say, which Tom, my coach, Tom Holman, awesome, just philosophical genius, if you will. He goes...
You better listen to this.
He said to me one time, he was like, no one has to do anything. When I had said, I have to do this if I want to like make the team. And he goes, no one has to do anything. And I said, I understand. I just got upset.
Yeah,
but like in a way that was so like eye-opening to me. I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like, I'm literally doing my after-school sport at age 27. This is just for fun. Like, I'm having so much fun. This is silly. Like, it wasn't when I was 27. It was probably like 3 years ago now. You know?
Even just simple things like, not feeling like I didn't have a choice in that. Yeah. Like, I have to do this, or like, you know, I would, before doing a bar routine or something, I'd say, oh, I can't do this today. And I'd say, well, if you can't do it today, then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, what's the point of you saying that to yourself when you're here anyway?
Yeah. At the time when you say now, like, why are you here then if you're like not, but that is not what works in the moment to switch you, you have to really actually be like so kind to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and at the time when you're saying like, I can't do this today, it's like, okay, hang on, I've heard that. Thank you for that thought. Let me have a second. Okay, either I'm not feeling up to doing this today, which is okay, that's allowed. That's also allowed. Like, give it everything all the time, but if you have only come in with 50%, you can only give up to 50%, and that's okay. But also, like, can I reframe and can I be in a better mind state so I can do this today? And that is really hard to do when that emotion hits of I can't do this today.
To bring in Dean, like one of my mentors, performance is only action or inaction. Yeah. And I had a really powerful conversation with him before nationals where I was like, oh, you know, like I'm just getting all these like negative thoughts about things because, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing things, you still...
Stuff comes up.
Yeah. And he said, well, who cares?
I love it.
And I was like, yeah, but I need to make sure that I'm focusing on saying and thinking the right things. And he goes, Emma, you just need to learn to do things despite what you think.
That's good.
And I was like, oh.
All right.
Because think about it. Yeah, it's like, how many things go through your mind? Silly thoughts.
Yeah.
And the more that you try to control things, again, the more you persist.
Yeah.
The more you try to control your thoughts, the more attention you're putting on your thoughts and less attention you're putting on your actions and what you're doing in your performance. And so that was like so freeing to me. And I hope that maybe someone can take this on board, right? It was so freeing to me to be okay with having a thought like, I can't do this today, and go, gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
And not,
you know, the action thought.
Yeah, or like just like thinking like, I don't know, I've not tested this theory a lot in gymnastics because a lot of this came up after it. I wish that I had known this. So if you are listening to this and you're still doing gymnastics in colour for you, try it.
Yeah.
You know, when you have these thoughts, recognize you're human. Yeah. You are so human. And like, it doesn't have to mean anything if you do it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's just that active performance of just go. One thing I now do is I just take actions. And then someone says, why? And I go, well, because I said I would.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
If I don't have a reason, you know, I mean, this is an example. I was in the Gold Coast last week to talk at national pubs, and I was like, oh, Melbourne winter sucks. I'm off it. I'm thinking I'm going to move to the Gold Coast next June when my lease is up. And I was saying this to someone, and they go, oh God. And I was like, yeah, you know me. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And I've proven that. You know, like it's just become a way that I operate. Mostly thanks, obviously, to working with Dean, because he taught me that there's just real power in you are your word. Yeah. You are simply what you do, not what you think.
Yes.
You are not what you think.
And not what you say. Both. It's just action is a much better measure.
Yes.
Of your identity, I would say. Yeah.
Performance is just simply action and inaction. And so as you go along the journey to sort of build your self-talk towards something that's going to support the future version of you that you want to be, right? Yeah. Or support the identity that you want to create around yourself. So you want to shape your self-talk. I do think that's powerful. In the process of doing that, you're going to still experience moments of I can't do this today or I have to be there.
Yeah.
And so the difference becomes between what you then do with that.
Yeah. And what I like to refer to that as is like building the evidence bank of that future self. And so you've kind of created this compelling future for yourself, this compelling version of yourself that you are very excited to become. But like you can step into who that is simply by taking the actions that person would take. And so that gives you that evidence bank, and it gives your brain the evidence bank of that new identity. And I love that way of doing it, which is so like action oriented, like we were talking about. It's like, do you know the be, do, have? So be, do, have is like, if usually people flip it and they say have, do, be. If I have the things, I can do the things I want to do, and then I'll be the person I want to be.
Yep.
Yeah. And so really you can just flip that and you can start being. And if you step into that being mode, then you will do the things that person would do. And then by proxy, you will accidentally, like we said, fall into that outcome that you wanted. And I think that's a really powerful thing to do, is find who is the person that I'm trying to be, and take actions toward that person would be taking. Just step in.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do when you're at the opposite end. But if you change your story, in my opinion, if you change your story, you change your life.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's changed a lot of shit for me.
Yeah, I mean, I always think that.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And one thing also that I've learned is envy is a really good way for you to look at the people that have things you might want.
You want, yeah.
Because I mean, I used to be really good at knowing what I don't want, really awful at knowing what I do want. Because again, it's a real cop-out, it's really easy.
Yeah.
If you know what you do want, then you face the disappointment that you might not get it. If you ever find yourself envious or jealous of someone, it's probably because they have something you want.
Yeah, and think about what that is.
And then go be, have, and do.
Be, do, and have, and
use it to guide you. Use it to guide you.
Yes. I think I will say very, very end off now because I feel like you really have to go.
I have to go.
So, the last thing I found really helped, and I don't know if you've ever done anything like this before in training. So I found that when I started to have those big emotions come up, that I was like, oh my God, I either talking to myself in a way that wasn't conducive to what I was trying to do on the day. Right? So I would go, okay, am I avoiding something? Or am I like over efforting at something? Which behavior am I taking based on this action? Am I trying to get away from doing reps of this skill? Or am I doing so many until I run myself into the ground because it's not working? And so for me, the action piece was when I had that awareness, it was like, okay, let me set an amount of reps for this, and that's it. So if I'm avoiding it, I'm going to do 3, and if I'm over efforting, I'm going to do 3.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I started to build my evidence bank of like, okay, when the feelings come up, I don't have to act on those feelings. I just have to notice what's happening and then take an action based on what's happening. And for me, doesn't matter which way it's going, this is the action, a finite amount of reps. So did you have anything like that you did?
Yeah, I did. And now, obviously I can't go fully into it.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
It was mostly stuff that I worked with Dave around just intentional training and similar. Yeah. It's more so around, again, that action piece of like, you don't have to feel good. You don't have to feel like I need to do another one, or I feel like I should do one more. It's like, okay, I did the 3 and I did the with intention. They weren't perfect, but who cares? I set that measurement.
Yeah.
And then when you go into a preparation for a competition, instead of basing your likelihood of success off how you feel, you base it off the repetitions that you've done and what's in your bank.
Yeah. Evidence of the volume you've done before.
Big thing that I do when I do keynote speaking, one of the biggest topics is around self-trust, not self-belief. Self-belief is a feeling, it's an emotion. Self-trust is measurable, it is built over time, and it can break very easily. And it's probably the most important piece because at the end of the day, you can only really rely on yourself.
Yeah. I think that's good to end up there.
Very good.
Oh my God, you have to go into a talk.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
No, you're so welcome.